right, this lesson is over phrasals and verbals. That's kind of they're synonymous terms, but that includes gerunds, participles, infinitives. And we've already learned a lot about infinitives. So at the end of this unit, you need to be able to match the vocabulary to the correct definition. So the vocabulary is the word gerund. That is a verb ending in ing that acts as a noun. An infinitive is a present tense verb preceded by the word to. A split infinitive is when you have a word that comes in between the word to and the verb. An infinitive phrase is the infinitive, its objects and modifiers. A participle is a verb used as an adjective. And a participial phrase is a participle phrase and its modifiers. All right, the next thing you need to do is be able to identify gerunds and gerund phrases, identify infinitives and infinitive phrases, identify split infinitives, and identify participles and participial phrases. All right, so we're going to dive in. What you need to know is be able to identify subject and verb. You need to be able to distinguish between the predicate of a sentence and a verbal phrase, be able to identify adjectives. You need to also know how you need to be able to, I'll say, state how the 5 ways a noun is used in a sentence. The reason is because you want to identify gerunds. All right, let's dive into this and start with a gerund. All a gerund is it's a verb, but it acts like a noun. And it's used the same way nouns are used. So there's 5 ways that you can use a noun in a sentence. It can be used as a subject, as a direct object, as an indirect object, a predicate nominative, and as an object of a preposition. So in this sentence, running, it's used as a subject. Therefore, even though it's a verb, because it's used as a subject, then we call it a gerund. So this sentence, running, caused Bob to lose weight. That is a gerund. Then we can use it as a direct object. Bob considered what? Bob considered running. Running is our direct object. Indirect object, Bob gave running a try. Predicate nominative, Bob's favorite hobby is running. And the object of a preposition, Bob won first place in the race for running. So that is really all there is to it. Is it's a verb, but so if you can identify the subject, you can identify a gerund. If you can identify the direct object, then all of these, you can identify a gerund. A gerund phrase consists of the gerund and any complements or modifiers. For example, Bob made running his top priority. His top priority, I'll modify running. All right, let's go into infinitives. And we already know what an infinitive is. An infinitive is a present tense verb preceded by the word to. And it can be used as a noun, as an adjective, or an adverb. So to know and be known was the desire of her heart. To know and be known is the subject of the sentence. It's that whole phrase. Is to know is the word to and the verb. And this one has actually 2 of them, double ones. A direct object, he wanted to know her mind. As the predicate nominative, understanding is to know the truth. An adjective, her need to know modifies need, was driving her. And then adverb, Keith studies. Oh, that's not necessarily an adverb, is it? Yes, it modifies to learn. To learn. Okay. And then a participle is a verb form that is used as an adjective. For example, the barking dog kept me up all night. Barking is a verb, but here it's modifying the dog. It's telling which dog. And that's why we call it a participle. All right, unlike gerunds, which are only in present tense, participles can be both present and past, and they could be end in ed, en, dt, or n, or ing. The sleeping children dream pleasant dreams. Sleeping modifies the children. The awakened children cried. Awaken modifies children. Half eaten modifies sandwich, and destroyed by fire modifies the house. So one thing you have to be careful of is your dangling participles. And that way, oftentimes they can get kind of funny. Let's see if I can make this bigger and we'll go over this part. A dangling participle does not clearly modify a word in sentence. For example, eating a burrito, her foot slipped on the ice. Because of the location right here of eating burrito, it looks like it's modifying her foot, which would indicate then that her foot was eating the burrito, which we know is impossible, but it makes it kind of funny. So you would want to correct that and say, eating a burrito, Rhonda slipped on the ice. And then our rule on this is you use a comma. For any introductory element, you use a comma. Anything that comes before the subject, normally you would use a comma. Okay, I'll come back and hopefully you can piece this together, and I'll come back in a minute and we'll finish.